Uh, Obviously, you know that I'm very much in favor of issuing them to the right people. And I emphasize the right people because, you know, there's been some legislation and it's still, I guess now, the good cause decision is stayed for now because it's going to go to the en banc panel of the Ninth Circuit and all the judges are going to hear it and all of that stuff. But as you probably know, at this point, it really didn't impact the way we operate as far as CCWs, because in our county, we've always believed that good cause can be as simple as self-protection for, you know, we help you a little bit, but you know, you don't have to have a criminal report that says you've been threatened and all of those things. You just have to come in and be a good moral character and state your good cause, you know, and for the most part, we accept whatever your good cause is based on your opinion. But I think the important part to remember is that good moral character is a big deal for me. And if we want to, as a society, protect our right to have CCWs, we can't screw it up. And we have to make sure that when we issue a CCW to somebody, first off, it has my name on the bottom of it. But secondly, and more importantly, is to make sure that we're issuing CCWs to people that are of good moral character. And if you've had a bunch of things in the past that would cause us to worry about your moral character, or if you've been involved in criminal activity and a bunch of other things, then we look at that pretty seriously. So when you hear somebody that's applied for a CCW and they get denied, or somebody who has had a CCW for a period of time and then it got revoked, oftentimes what they'll tell you is that, well, there's really nothing. They just took it away or they just refused to issue it, and I don't really have anything in my background to worry about. Well, most people won't tell you the truth because maybe they don't want to be embarrassed by whatever the truth is, but trust me, we take it very seriously, and out of the 700 or so that applied for CCWs last year, there was only a handful that didn't get them because of good moral character. And those are folks that have done a variety of things that nobody in this room did, because otherwise you wouldn't be sitting in this room. You know, whether it be lying in criminal cases or something that, you know, there's a lot of examples, and I look at them, and the folks that don't get them, especially those that have had them and didn't get them renewed, I look at each one of those after they've appealed and their appeal's been denied and they come again, I look at them personally and sign the letters. And so I'm very sure when I sign that letter that they're not somebody that I would like to have a CCW running around. Because I think it's all of our responsibility to treat that very responsible. Because if we don't and we screw that up, we're just going to open ourselves up to more attacks by the courts to try to take that away from us. And we've seen it already. You know, there's people making a run at our rights to carry guns and all of that, and it's every single year at the state. They're doing it again this year. And it's every year at the federal level they're doing something. And so the better behaved, if you will, or the better people that we have with CCWs that are good, law-abiding, responsible citizens, the better off we all are, because we don't have any in this county incidents of folks with CCWs running around firing their gun and doing stupid things. And if we find out about it, we take it away from them. Because I want to protect that right for everybody else so that we don't end up losing it at some point in the future. So we do take it very seriously. And if you hear somebody out there that says that they're good moral character and they've never done anything wrong and we just won't issue them one, be suspect of what they say, because we don't make those decisions carelessly, and we don't jump to conclusions. We make sure that we look through their background, and before we send that letter to them saying no, that we've done our homework, because we issue a lot of CCWs in this county, and I think that's a good thing. And I always joke with my buddy, the sheriff of Kern County, which is Donnie Youngblood, and my other friend, the sheriff of Fresno County, Margaret Mims. We're trying to keep up with them as far as issuing CCWs. They got us beat for now, but we're gaining on them. So, you know, they don't have as many people in their county as we do, but But we are gaining on them. They're up, I think Margaret Mims is up in the 6,000 range, and I think we're just over 4 now, right? We're pushing 4,000. So, and there's a big interest in them. And you know, if there's an interest, we'll keep doing it. If it gets to the point where nobody wants one, then so be it. That's ultimately everybody in this room's decision, whether they want a CCW or not. You know, we did have some problems a couple years ago with the delay. It took a while to get through the process, simply because the desire to get through the process was greater than the number of staff we had assigned to do the backgrounds. And so we added some staff, and now we're down to 90 days or less from the initial application till the time of issuance. And renewals, you know, they just go through the normal process. That's not any big deal. But we were overwhelmed with the number of people wanting CCWs for the first time, and it was tough to keep up with that workload. So we've got enough staff down there now to keep up with it, and we're in the 90 days or less at this point. So we're doing pretty well, and we'll continue that until either the desire for CCWs drops and we can reduce some staff, or if it spikes again and we have to add some more staff, we'll figure out how to do that as well so that we can keep up with the workload. It's a big deal for us. So there's lots of legislation out there. We try to look at each one of those pieces of legislation. And we have somebody that's assigned to work in Sacramento 3 days a week. She stays on top of that and keeps me advised as to what's going on in Sacramento. I make multiple trips a year up there to talk to legislators. They all know my position on gun control and ammunition control and all those other things that they try to do. They all know my position very well. And my belief is that there's plenty of gun laws out there today, and we can't even enforce everything that's out there. So I don't know that we need any more at this point. And what we have works well if we have the opportunity and the ability to enforce what we have today. So I continue to watch them, and it's a never-ending battle. And I send letters when appropriate. I go up and testify if I need to, but I don't write letters on every piece of legislation that addresses any kind of gun control, only because there's so many of them. I watch them and wait until it looks like they're getting some traction, and then I'll go up. And then I'll send a letter or I'll go up. If I wrote a letter on everything that was proposed, I'd be writing letters all the time. And then it just becomes another letter from me. So I want them to have an impact, so I wait until it looks like it might go somewhere, because oftentimes they get killed in committees, and Public Safety Committee kills them or Appropriation Committee kills them, and we know they're not ever going to get off the ground anyway. So I worry about writing a letter until it looks like they're starting to get some traction. So we do that when we need to. Barbara Ferguson, our representative in Sacramento, will go testify if I'm unavailable in committee hearings on anything that's important to us in this county. Our legislators that we have here in this county are very good on both sides of the aisle. Even our Democrat friends are willing to step up if I ask them to not support a certain bill for whatever reason, and I explain the reason why. They have shown that they will support that. If you remember, I think it was last year, there was a move to register dealers who sold ammunition, and then all of us that bought ammunition would have to register that we purchased ammunition. I had to spin that a little bit differently, but I didn't think that was a good move. I don't think that's a good piece of legislation. And for us in this county, because I made some phone calls, we were able to get even some of our Democrat friends to vote against that legislation. And if you remember, it didn't pass, and it only was missed by 1 vote. And we had 2 Democrats in our county that one didn't vote at all, and the other one voted against it. My argument for some of the folks that think a little bit more to the left is that that's a commerce bill. If we have to register our dealers, and everybody that has to buy ammunition, or everybody that buys ammunition has to register, then all of you folks will just go buy ammunition somewhere else. You'll go buy it in another state and bring it in, or whatever it might be. And so what I shared with them is that if everybody leaves this county or this state and buys ammunition somewhere else, then we've just lost all of that business and sales tax and all of those things that help support what we do every day. So that actually swayed a lot of folks. Oh yeah, we didn't think about that. It's commerce, you know. It doesn't really matter about ammunition control, because we all know that if we're trying to control crooks from getting ammunition, they're going to get it somewhere else. And I've been doing this job long enough, and I've seen a lot of crooks with guns. I have yet to find any crook that has a gun that's really of high quality, very rarely. But number two, every time you find them and they have ammunition, none of it matches. They don't have boxes of ammunition all from the same manufacturer, the same weight. None of it matches. It's just whatever they can find that'll fit in the gun. So they're not going to the store and buying ammunition anyway. They're stealing it from you guys if it's not secure, or whoever else they can victimize. So forcing all of us to register when we buy ammunition doesn't really solve anything in my mind. So fortunately we're able to defeat that, but that doesn't mean that it won't come back, because it seems like they just keep bringing it up, and maybe they can get it through the next time around. And you know, when it comes to guns itself, I think we're probably pretty good this year. I haven't heard of anything that would impact the firearms. I think they're taking maybe this year off, but there may be a time when they do something again for firearms, but we just have to watch, and we'll continue to watch. And you folks are probably active in various communities as well, whether it be NRA or whatever it might be, and they probably keep you updated on legislation as well. And I encourage you to stay involved and write letters to legislators if you need to, just to voice your opinion. And you know, I think that's all important, and I think it's important to vote and all of those things, but you know, that's certainly your decision to make. But we all have to stay on top of these things, because if we don't, we'll wake up one morning and something has changed drastically, and we were asleep at the switch and they passed it when we weren't looking. So we got to stay on top of all that. But with all that said, I don't want to take a whole bunch of your time, but I decided to come out and say hi and thank you for participating in the program, because I think it's very worthwhile. And you know, just remind you that we're very pro CCW in our county, but I'm committed to doing backgrounds, and I think we should do backgrounds, and I think it's important to protect the integrity of the process. And some will suggest that maybe we should be a shall issue county and everybody should get them regardless, and I don't believe in that. I think there's a way to get them by going through the process, and I know sometimes it seems cumbersome, but I think it's important to protect the integrity of the process so that we guarantee this right as we move forward, and somebody doesn't try to do something crazy and take it away, or try to take it away because they can cite a bunch of examples of CCW holders that are doing crazy things, and that's the worst thing in the world that can happen to any one of us. It just makes our job that much harder, because I think you can look across this county for sure, and very few people lose their CCWs for doing stupid things, very, very few. And I think that's a good record to stand on, and that's what we need to continue to do. So happy to answer any questions.